Hey there, fellow history enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the captivating world of ancient Egypt. Get ready to unearth 10 incredible facts about the mesmerizing civilization. Let's get started. Fact 1. Ancient Egypt spanned over 3,000 years, from around 3100 BCE to 332 BCE. That's longer than any other known civilization in human history. Ancient Egypt, circa 3100 BCE, 332 BCE. The unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under King Menes marked the beginning of ancient Egyptian civilization. The Old Kingdom saw the construction of monumental structures such as the pyramids, including the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Middle Kingdom witnessed stability, artistic achievements, and territorial expansion. The New Kingdom was the golden age of Egypt, characterized by powerful pharaohs like Hatshepsut, Tutankhamun, and Ramses II. It was a time of great military conquests and the height of Egyptian influence. Fact 2. The Nile River played a vital role in the civilization's development. It provided fertile soil for agriculture and allowed for transportation and trade. The Nile River played a central role in the development of ancient Egyptian civilization. The regular flooding of the Nile, known as the inundation, deposited fertile silt along its banks, creating rich agricultural land for farming. The Nile's annual flood cycle was crucial for the success of agriculture and sustained the growth of the ancient Egyptian civilization. Economic significance. The Nile River continues to be a lifeline for Egypt's economy. It supports a thriving agricultural sector, with farmers relying on the river's water for irrigation. The Nile is also crucial for transportation, facilitating the movement of goods and people across Egypt. Tourism along the Nile, particularly river cruises, is a significant source of revenue. Fact 3. The pharaohs were believed to be divine beings, with a direct connection to the gods. They were considered the intermediary between the gods and the people. Pharaohs were often depicted with the double crown, symbolizing their rule over both Upper and Lower Egypt. Titles and responsibilities. The pharaohs held several titles, including Horus, which represented their divine nature, and Son of Ra, signifying their connection to the sun god Ra. Their primary responsibility was to maintain Ma'at, the balance and order of the universe, which included upholding justice, protecting Egypt from enemies, and ensuring the well-being of their people. Fact 4. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu, is the largest of the three pyramids and is considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The pyramids of Giza are located on the outskirts of Cairo, Egypt, and were built as tombs for the pharaohs during the Old Kingdom period of ancient Egypt. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, also known as the Pyramid of Cheops, is the largest of the 3 pyramids at Giza. It stood as the tallest man-made structure in the world for over 3,800 years. The pyramids of Giza were built with an incredible precision. The sides of the pyramids align almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass. The construction of the Great Pyramid required an estimated workforce of around 20,000 to 30,000 skilled workers, including architects, engineers, stonemasons, and laborers. The pyramids of Giza were built using millions of limestone blocks, some weighing up to 50 tons each. These massive stones were transported from quarries located across the Nile River. The ancient Egyptians had advanced knowledge of engineering and mathematics. They used simple tools, such as ramps and levers, to lift and position the massive stones in place. The Pyramid of Khafre, the second largest pyramid at Giza, appears taller than the Great Pyramid due to its higher elevation on the plateau. It also still retains some of its original casing stones at the top. The smallest of the 3 pyramids is the Pyramid of Menkaure, which is believed to have been built by Pharaoh Menkaure as his final resting place. Fact 5. The Middle Kingdom, also known as the Mid-Era of ancient Egypt, saw significant developments in art, literature, and architecture. It was a period of stability and prosperity. 1. Visual art. Egyptian art focused on presenting figures and objects in a highly stylized and symbolic manner. Wall paintings and reliefs adorn temples, tombs, and palaces, depicting scenes from everyday life, religious rituals, and the afterlife. Sculptures and statues often represented deities, pharaohs, and prominent individuals. They were characterized by idealized proportions and rigid poses. 2. Hieroglyphic writing. Hieroglyphics were the ancient Egyptian writing system, consisting of intricate symbols that represented sounds, objects, and concepts. Hieroglyphic inscriptions were found on temple walls, papyrus scrolls, and tomb walls. They conveyed religious texts, historical accounts, and magical spells. Fact 6. The ancient Egyptians had a strong belief in the afterlife. They constructed elaborate tombs and burial chambers, filled with treasures and goods to accompany the deceased in the afterlife. Ka and Ba, Egyptians believed that each person had a life force called the Ka, which needed to be sustained after death. The Ba was the individual's unique personality and was believed to travel between the earthly realm and the afterlife. Judgment in the underworld. Egyptians believed in a judgment process that determined the fate of the deceased in the afterlife. The heart of the deceased was weighed against the feather of Ma'at, representing truth and justice. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the individual could proceed to the blissful afterlife. Mummification. Mummification was a complex process used to preserve the body for the afterlife. It involved removing internal organs, treating the body with preservatives, and wrapping it in linen bandages. Fact 7. The ancient Egyptians had a sophisticated understanding of medicine. They practiced surgery, set broken bones, and used various herbal remedies and natural substances for treatments. The ancient Egyptians possessed a surprisingly advanced understanding of medicine for their time. Their medical knowledge and practices were deeply rooted in their religious beliefs and the concept of balance and harmony. Here's a short description of their sophisticated understanding of medicine. The ancient Egyptians believed that health and well-being were the result of maintaining balance within the body, mind, and spirit. They believed that illness was caused by imbalances or disruptions in this equilibrium, and their medical practices aimed to restore harmony. Fact 8. Hieroglyphics, the ancient Egyptian writing system, were a combination of pictorial symbols and phonetic signs. The script was mainly used by priests, scribes, and the elite. Hieroglyphics were the ancient Egyptian writing system, consisting of a complex combination of pictorial symbols and phonetic signs. The term hieroglyphics comes from the Greek words hieros, meaning sacred, and glyphian, meaning to carve. The Egyptians believed that writing had a sacred and divine origin. Hieroglyphics were used to write a variety of texts, including religious texts, historical accounts, administrative records, and personal letters. They were inscribed on temple walls, tomb walls, papyrus scrolls, and other surfaces. Fact 9. Despite their immense size, the pyramids were aligned with remarkable accuracy to the stars. The entrance passages of the pyramids were oriented toward specific constellations important in ancient Egyptian religion. Ancient Egyptian religion was a complex and intricate belief system that played a central role in the lives of the Egyptian people. It was deeply rooted in their understanding of the world and their relationship with the divine. Here are some key aspects of ancient Egyptian religion. Polytheism. The ancient Egyptians were polytheistic, meaning they worshipped a multitude of gods and goddesses. Each deity had specific characteristics and responsibilities, and they were associated with natural elements, celestial bodies, and aspects of life. Fact 10. The famous burial practice of mummification was done to preserve the bodies of the deceased for the afterlife. It involved removing internal organs, drying the body, and wrapping it in linen bandages. Mummification was a famous and intricate burial practice of the ancient Egyptians. It involved preserving the body of the deceased to ensure its eternal existence in the afterlife. Here's an overview of the mummification process. Removal of organs. The first step was to remove the internal organs, except for the heart, which was considered the seat of intelligence and emotion. The brain was often discarded, while other organs such as the lungs, liver, stomach, and intestines were removed and separately embalmed. Dehydration: the body was then dehydrated to prevent decomposition. It was covered in a salt called natron, which helped draw out moisture. The natron was applied for about 40 days, after which it was removed. Wrapping: the body was carefully wrapped in linen bandages. Between the layers of linen, amulets and charms were placed to provide protection in the afterlife. The head and limbs were individually wrapped, and the entire body was encased in multiple layers of bandages.